Hi everyone, it is 2:35 on this Monday. I'm Rekha Mutteraj, live in the KHOU 11 newsroom. Did you have a good weekend? I sure hope you did. And I hope you're having a good Monday too. As always, these are the stories that you guys are clicking on today. Let's get to it. Sheriff's investigators hoping for some information in this case. Two employees at a Northwest Harris County shopping center are in the hospital after they were shot during a reported robbery. It happened early this morning, so we're talking 12:30 a.m. At 110 Vintage Park. One of the victims drove himself to a nearby deputy constable substation on Louetta for help. The victim told deputies he and a coworker were shot during a robbery outside the business where they work. EMS responded, took the victim to the hospital. Deputies say a short time later, the other shooting victim showed up at the hospital in Willowbrook with a gunshot wound to his hand. Both are expected to make a full recovery. But again, police need some information on this. So please call 713-222-TIPS if you have any information. The Drug Enforcement Administration is alerting the public about a dangerous drug known as gray death. Have you heard of this? It's hit the streets of Houston. Gray death is a new super drug that looks like small chunks of concrete. Sometimes it can be powder-like as well, but it's basically made up of heroin, fentanyl, and other deadly opioids. It is 10,000 times more potent than morphine. The DEA is targeting people who are producing and distributing gray death and says it is happening here in Houston. It's being sold for about $20 a hit, but experts warn even the tiniest amount can kill someone. The DEA also warning anyone who may come across this drug to definitely not touch it. Call 911, call law enforcement. They are trained on how exactly to remove it safely. Okay. This is a tragic story, especially if you've got a dog. You'd understand this. A Houston man is desperate to get his dog back, and he's offering a big reward. Here's the story. Jorge Garza says his 2-year-old golden doodle was in his car when someone broke into his car and stole it Saturday afternoon. He had left the car running. He ran back into his apartment for a few minutes, but he said he left the car locked. He came out, the car was gone, his dog was gone. This happened at Arium Uptown West Apartments in the 7600 block of High Meadow Drive near South Voss. This is Southwest Houston. Frida, that's the dog there, gold beige color. She has a chip. She was wearing tags. The car that was stolen is a 2016 blue Volkswagen Jetta. The license plate HNC 9230. Garza offering a $5,000 reward for the safe return of Frida. If you have any information on this case, you can also message us at web@khou.com. Include your contact information. We definitely want to reunite Frida and Jorge as soon as possible. All right, let's talk about the weather, Blake. It is another gorgeous day.
You have a very different view of what gorgeous is, Rekha, compared to most of us. In fact, I'm just drawing in the cold front right now here on the board, and you can see right where it's at. It is currently sitting just to the north and west of Conroe. And honestly, I could remove the blue line and you could see it for yourself. It's 70 right now in Columbus versus 59 degrees up there in College Station. So that boundary is going to slowly continue to work its way into southeast Texas and should be in the Houston area as we get into the overnight hours tonight. Now, translation, cooler temperatures and a more focusing of the rain, I think, here closer to the city of Houston. So don't put those umbrellas away yet, even though it has been a relatively tame day here across Harris County. 77 degrees right now at Bush Airport, 76 degrees there at Hobby. We've got these southeast winds coming in out ahead of the front, 12, 16 miles an hour. But look at this. Isn't this interesting? Winds coming in from the north on the backside of that front, 5 and 3 miles an hour. And you can see right where they're lining up right there. And that's exactly where your cold front is. And it's going to slowly, and I emphasize slowly, sag down into southeast Texas. Here's a look at the radar. We had a potent thunderstorm move right through northwest Montgomery County, right across 105, through the April Sound area into the town of Montgomery, across Lake Conroe, and now pushing up through Walker County. A few lightning bolts up there as well, but for the most part, Houston has escaped any heavy rain for today. So as we zoom into Harris County, a few scattered sprinkles out there, but all in all, mostly a dry but cloudy afternoon here across southeast Texas. We have a few light showers out there along 290 getting into Hempstead and into the Brenham area. So as we expand the view nationwide, we've got some snow up there towards the Texas Panhandle, a lot of rain out here towards northern Alabama and Mississippi. In fact, the Weather Prediction Center now has a high risk of flash flooding there across northern portions of those states. That is very unusual. To put that in perspective, we had a high risk of flash flooding during Hurricane Harvey. Don't see that very often, but nonetheless, that's exactly what they're facing out there across Dixie as we get into the afternoon hours today. Now, the other thing that I want to point out here is this jewel right there. You see it spinning around just to the south of Los Angeles, getting into San Diego, and that area of low pressure is slowly going to pull across the southern United States and into Texas, but it's going to take its time. In fact, as I enhance the view here, this is what we call the water vapor. You can see that spinning out there again in the Baja California. Now, here's a look at the upper levels. This is 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet in the air, and you see that little bulge across California. That's that cutoff area of low pressure. And look how long it takes. This is Tuesday, tomorrow morning, still sitting over northern Mexico. And as we get into tomorrow night at 8:30, still sitting over New Mexico. Wednesday afternoon at 5:30, it finally begins to get picked up, but still it's going to take several days for that area of low pressure to get through Texas. But in the meantime, you're going to have little disturbances right around the bottom of that area of low pressure right through southeast Texas. Translation, rain. Now, we're not looking for necessarily heavy rain, but rain nonetheless. And I think tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be the wettest days of the week. So as we take a look at the future track, this takes us into 8 o'clock this evening. Notice the banding feature setting up here across southeast Texas. That's your cold front right there that continues to drape down into the Houston area. There's your cold front right there, pushing through Pearland, Angleton, and Bay City. By the time we get to 1 o'clock in the morning, the bottom line is the rain is going to be a little bit more focused towards the city of Houston overnight tonight, so don't put those umbrellas away yet. Now, as we get you into tomorrow afternoon, this is 5 o'clock, notice the showers becoming more widespread across southeast Texas. Notice, I don't know if you saw that boundary pushing back to the north and then pushing back to the south. So we've got boundaries all over the place. They're bouncing around like crazy. And each boundary is going to be a focus of rainfall. So as we get into 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday, we've got some heavy rain out there to the west of College Station, a band of rain out there from west of Tomball into Sealy and El Campo, and eventually that begins to push on into the Houston area as we get into Wednesday afternoon. And then we get to Wednesday evening, things finally begin to dry out here across our region. Now, Thursday and Valentine's Day on Friday look to be pretty okay, but as we get into Saturday, that's when the forecast becomes a little bit more murky. The GFS model painting a very wet picture here across southeast Texas. The European model is slightly drier, so what's going to happen on the weekend, we don't know at this point, but we do know that at least there's going to be a chance of rain. Now, whether it's going to be a high chance of rain or a low chance is something we are still trying to figure out. So tune in to us over the next day or two. We'll try to get that weekend plan sorted out for you. In the meantime, how much rain can we expect over the next 3 days? Generally about an inch, maybe an inch and a half in some of the heavier pockets, but notice the temperatures will continue to stay on the warm side out ahead of that front, much cooler on the backside. In fact, as we get into tonight at 10 o'clock, we're talking 50s out there across northwest Harris County, Montgomery County, 54 up in Huntsville, 52 in College Station. And then things remain relatively cool heading into Tuesday and Wednesday, highs only in the upper 60s, low 60s for Thursday. How about upper 50s as we get into your Valentine's Day as things clear out? And then the rain chances return Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and into Monday. Again, this forecast here will remain in flux over the next couple of days. But in the meantime, keep those umbrellas handy Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll see Mr. Sunshine return as we get into Thursday and Friday. All right, that's the very latest on your forecast. We're going to continue to mull over the data that's coming in, and we'll have another update coming up for you today beginning on the 411 at 4 o'clock.